In this week's web video fishing forecast for New England, we've got cod up to 25 pounds off of Block Island, schoolie to small slot striped bass in the surf, with bigger fish being found up in the tidal rivers, word on some bunker die-offs in southern New England, updates on trout and Atlantic salmon stocking across southern New England, and much, much more. Let's check it out.
The fishing news is sponsored by these fine partners.
Hey there, Toby Lapinski for the New England edition of the Fisherman magazine with this week's web video fishing forecast. Before I get into the video, of course, I want to remind you to like this video if anything that I talk about catches your interest. Of course, you can also comment down below if you've got anything to add, if you like any, if you'd like me to expand on anything, if you've got any questions about what I talk about. Be sure, of course, to also subscribe to the Fisherman magazine's YouTube channel and tap the bell to get immediate notification every time we post a video. And of course, we want you to subscribe to the Fisherman magazine. And right now, head on over to thefisherman.com. We are running a special through the end of this month, giving you 1/3 off the newsstand price, So it's just $20 for a full 1-year subscription to the print magazine here at thefisherman.com. So be sure to head on over and check it out. Okay, we're going to jump into the reports right now, starting out in the salt, where it's pretty much what you'd expect this time of year, with the usual mix of bottom fish to be had off of Block Island. You know, you're going to get some cod, some black sea bass, some porgies, some big-time cunner, which make awesome table fare, let me tell you, some pollock, and then you're going to run into the oddballs popping up here and there. That's haddock, even some winter flounder, and then just this past week we had a little flurry of weak fish caught out there, so you never know what you're going to find. Keeps you guessing. Well, the guys over at the Blackhawk took a long run on Monday. They had a little bit of a weather window. I know a few of the boats weren't able to sail the last couple of days because of the weather, but the guys on the Blackhawk took a long run and found some really good action. Not tons of fish, but some bigger fish. I think High Hook on the day had 4 keeper cod plus a good variety of those other species, but the big fish of the day was a solid 25-pound cod out there. Now, you know, going back 25, 30 years, 25-pound class fish was average, but these days that is a solid cod, way bigger than any I've been able to bring up out there. Maybe I'll hop on with the Blackhawk in the coming days. Of course, all the trips with them, as well as all of the boats right now, got to be booked online. You can head to thefisherman.com, check their reports, and every one of them will direct you right over to their website where you can book there. We've also got a Book It Now feature for each of those advertisers, so be sure to check it out. Now, if you want to stay a little bit closer to home, there's still plenty of schoolie bass to be had in the surf. I was talking to Fisherman contributor Jerry Audette. He made what he is referring to his last casts of 2020 season a couple nights ago. I say it with a little smirk because Jerry's a true fisherman, and just like me, there's never really a last cast, whether it's on a given night or for a given outing. Jerry said he found lots of small bait willing to strike, managed a few slightly better fish on a glide bait, and again, while I normally would question whether or not it's a last outing, I will say I know Jerry's super busy right now because, as I told you last week, he's hard at work on his surf scenario seminar series, which we were talking about. Now, the first installment takes place this Wednesday night, so by the time you're watching this video, it will have passed, but they run every single week now through May 12th. You can check out the YouTube card link at the upper right-hand corner of the screen right now, which takes you over to one of the videos on Jerry's YouTube channel, In Deep Outdoors. Give you the full rundown on all of those seminars that he's got coming up for the next couple of months, as well as details on all of the interview series that's going on. So if you are either new to surf fishing, been at it a long time, looking to hone your skills, whatever the case may be, join me and a whole bunch of other surfcasters to sit in on what is sure to be an awesome seminar series this winter. All right, now if you do want to hit the surf here in southern New England in the coming days or even the coming weeks, you might be somewhat surprised to find adult bunker still milling around. Now, I'm not sure if you can see it right now on the screen. I took a couple of video clips of it earlier here. I'm at a tidal creek here in southeast Connecticut, and it is absolutely stuffed right now with adult bunker. I mean, tons of them. I was looking for them in season, couldn't find them. Here it is December, no bass to feed them to, and they're all around. But hey, I guess that's how it goes. But nonetheless, what happens in this kind of scenario, when you got this late season massive schools of bunker. It's just naturally you get some die-offs, and they're going to die. They're going to wash up on the shoreline. You're going to see them. I know I was just out doing a little schoolie fishing, which I'll get to in a few minutes, but I was seeing bunker washed up. I snagged a couple mixed in with the stripers that I was catching. Take a walk out on the beach right now, you're going to see them. And that's starting to cause sort of some confusion. Non-fishermen, just those people who aren't accustomed to seeing this, or conspiracy theorists, if you want, at times, are kind of freaking out seeing all these dead fish washed up on the shore. I can assure you, it's a natural phenomenon. And the Connecticut DEP, even when so far, I'm sure they got flooded with emails and contacts about it. They went so far as to put out a press release, which you can read right now at thefisherman.com, talking about how this is a naturally occurring phenomenon. And again, if you see 20, 25 bunker, I can assure you there's 150,000 of them swimming around out there. So it's not nothing too crazy, pretty natural. So check out the link, you'll get some more details on it. If you want to get a shot at some bigger bass, however, again, there's small schoolies along the surf. Your best bet for the bigger fish to be hit would be to hit one of the tidal rivers here in New England. While the Housatonic River in Connecticut is probably the most popular spot these days because, well, if nothing else, it's the easiest to get the fish on. There's probably 100 other rivers right now where you can find some fish. Much like fishing out front for those schoolies, though. Single hook offerings, single hook lures, jigs, bucktails, rubber baits with a single hook, or if you want to throw swimmers, swap out the trebles for single inline hooks is the way to go. I was talking, and speaking of single hook offerings, and speaking of spots other than the Housatonic River, talked to Greg Taylor this week. He's been fishing over in Rhode Island and finding some very, very good fish stacked up in one of the Ocean State tidal rivers. He didn't give me the details on it. I can't blame him for wanting to keep it kind of quiet, but it just might give you the urge to get out and fish. Now, most of the success he's been having has been coming on zinger baits, made right here in Connecticut, on very light jig heads. He said he's having to drop down to half and even quarter-ounce range jigs at times and literally just crawling them across the bottom. Now, in general, that's a pretty good tip. And when it gets colder, the fish slow down, and you want to fish your baits as slow as possible. As I said before, I was just out fishing a little while ago myself. Brought two rods, my light trout rod, basically 4-pound mono with an 8-pound leader and little 1/8-ounce tsunami swim shads. Got a bunch of fish. I even brought my 4-weight fly rod, tied up some little heavy slump busters, I believe they're called, little tungsten head, and got into a bunch of fish. But the key again was to cast out, whether on the spinning, whether on the fly, and just let it sink. And once it got down really low, a super slow crawl. A buddy of mine, Ron Walzik, met up with me. He got into some nice fish as well. Same thing, cast them out. I mean, at times when we were throwing the spinning, it was a matter of bombing out, putting a little slack into your line, coming tight, and just waiting. And you could just feel it fluttering, fluttering, fluttering down, and bang. And when you got into the strike zone, they were hitting it. So that works on the small fish like I was getting, and of course works on the bigger fish like Greg got into. All right, we're going to switch gears from the salt and the tidal rivers and head into some freshwater. And we got TJ Kopecki checking in with his video report for the week. Take it away, TJ.
Thanks, Toby. Hey, guys. Nice to be reporting again here. I got to tell you, things last week were a little tough. And I'm only going to say they're a little tough is because skim ice. We had a lot of skim ice on some of the local ponds here. So it made it very hard to get out there and do some fishing. We did manage to get out there in the rain, and that skim ice did melt, and we connected with a couple of largemouth bass. Didn't get anything else out of the mix there. But when it did clear up, we were getting lots of hits, just missing a lot of fish. We did fish a longer period of time. I found that the fish were very lethargic with that ice being on the water. So I think they kind of got into that deeper water where we couldn't get to them, and we're only casting from the shore. We tried about 6 different ponds. We did travel up to North Attleboro to Falls Pond, and there was ice on that pond, so we couldn't fish there for trout. But with the upcoming storm now, who knows what's going to happen with the weekend coming up. So, hey, but stay tuned, and we'll get some reports out to you. Tight lines.
All right, awesome. Thanks a lot, TJ. Of course, if you want to submit anything for my videos, whether it's a video clip of your own, photos and report like Greg did earlier, whatever the case may be, hit me up via email. That's Lapinski, Lapinski, at thefisherman.com. I'd love to add you going forward into my videos, whether it's one time, regularly, as you get out, whatever the case may be, especially in the winter season. I'd love to get the reports and love to feature you here, right here on the upcoming videos. Now, if you're looking to get on some action, perhaps put a report together. You want to do some freshwater fishing. We've got some trout and even salmon option coming for you. First up, actually last week, the Rhode Island DEM began stocking 11 lakes and ponds in the Ocean State. Now, you can check complete details on exactly which lakes, ponds, water bodies they stocked fish into right now. Little news item that I posted at thefisherman.com. You can check out the YouTube card. It's a link that just popped up in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. It will take you directly over to the article. Of course, in Rhode Island, you need to have not only your freshwater fishing license, but also your trout stamp. So be sure to get it all taken care of, squared away, and get on some trout. And last up, another opportunity if you're looking for a really special freshwater opportunity, something I've been telling myself I'm going to get out and do the last couple weeks, but had 100 million different excuses not to. Well, it's time to give it up on the excuses. Beginning December 16th, that's this Wednesday, yesterday, anglers who possess both a valid Connecticut freshwater fishing license and added on the trout and salmon stamp may harvest a single Atlantic salmon per day from the Atlantic salmon management areas of the Naugatuck and Shetucket rivers. Now, of course, you were able to target them over the last couple of weeks purely on a catch and release basis, but as of December 16th, it becomes a catch and keep opportunity. Now, gear is limited to artificial lures and flies only with a single free swinging hook. This means no treble hooks. If the lure you are throwing has multiple treble hooks, you got to drop down to one and clip two of the hook bends off, which is what I do on some of my smaller swimming lures when I've tried for them in the past. You also cannot add additional weight to the line, and snagging is strictly prohibited, frowned upon, and in my opinion, just plain dirty. Catch them legit. But if you do happen to see somebody or you encounter someone who is not following the rules, whether it's on the salmon fishery or anything else, of course, here in Connecticut, you contact the DEP directly, 860-424-3333. And while they don't want to hear of it, I'm sure they'd love to hear from you and take care of those poachers. I also got word, hopping back on those salmon, that the final stocking is to take place this week. My guess was actually it was going to probably hit this Tuesday that just passed, but with the storm, they probably didn't want to push people out. So I'm guessing as soon as conditions get back to normal after this big storm passes, they are going to get out there and dump the remainder of the fish into the Naugatuck and Shetucket rivers. And of course, if you get out fishing, if you find some success, I would love to hear from you. Shoot me the emails, perhaps even a video, Lapinski at thefisherman.com, and I promise I'll feature you in an upcoming video right here on YouTube and at thefisherman.com as well. All right, well, it's a lot going on. Of course, we've got a big storm probably upon us by the time you are watching this video. So, of course, everyone be safe, stay warm. Don't head out on the roads unless you have to until everything's cleaned up. And then once it is, get out there and fish. And, of course, shoot me the videos, photos, and reports, and I will feature you here going forward on YouTube as well as at thefisherman.com.
Steigercraft boats, built by people who fish our waters. Serious anglers choose Steigercraft for their 40 years of boat building experience right here in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. Visit steigercraft.com for a dealer near you.